Life, my friends, is a symphony, often beautiful, sometimes chaotic, but beneath the surface noise there lies a quiet wisdom waiting to be heard. Join me now as we embark on a journey together, seeking paths to inner silence and clarity. Open your ears, open your hearts, and perhaps you'll discover something within these lessons that empowers you to truly thrive. The human mind, a magnificent and complex instrument, is also, at times, a bustling marketplace. From the moment we stir in the morning, a chorus of thoughts begins. The day's to-do list, echoes of yesterday's conversations, worries about tomorrow, and sometimes even the faint hum of a forgotten tune. This isn't just background noise. It's the mind's constant chatter, a relentless stream of internal dialogue that, if left unchecked, can drown out the very clarity we seek. It's like living beside a busy highway, the constant rumble and roar becoming so familiar that we cease to truly hear it, even as it dictates the rhythm of our lives. Think of it, if you will, like a seasoned conductor leading an orchestra. A good conductor can bring forth a symphony of harmonious sound. But if every musician plays their own tune without direction or pause, the result is cacophony. Our minds often operate in this chaotic fashion, each thought vying for attention, pulling us in 1,000 different directions. This isn't to say all thoughts are detrimental. Far from it. Our ability to reason, plan, and create springs from this very mental activity. But when the volume is turned up too high, when the thoughts become repetitive, negative, or simply overwhelming, they can obscure our true intentions, cloud our judgment, and steal our peace. The first step towards inner silence isn't to stop thinking altogether, an impossible feat, I assure you, to recognize the nature of this chatter, to observe it without judgment as an impartial witness. The incessant hum of our thoughts can be both a blessing and a burden. By simply becoming aware of this internal dialogue, we begin the process of untangling ourselves from its grip. Try this. For the next 5 minutes, simply observe your thoughts as they arise. Don't engage with them, don't judge them, just notice them, like clouds passing in the sky. This simple act of observation is the first step towards finding the quiet within. We all carry them, these silent architects of our lives, limiting beliefs. They're the stories we tell ourselves often unconsciously about what we can and cannot do, what we are and are not capable of. They are the whispers that tell us we aren't smart enough, strong enough, or deserving enough. These aren't necessarily truths. They are often deeply ingrained convictions formed in childhood, from past experiences, or even from the well-intentioned but misguided advice of others. They are like an invisible set of chains, keeping us tethered to a perceived reality that may be far smaller than our actual potential. Think of Roger Bannister, the first man to run a mile in under 4 minutes. For decades it was considered an impossible feat, a physical barrier no human could break. The belief was so widespread, so deeply embedded in the minds of athletes and scientists alike, that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. But Bannister, through sheer will and a refusal to accept the prevailing wisdom, challenged that belief. And once he broke through, once he proved it was possible, others soon followed. The physical barrier hadn't moved. What had shifted was the collective limiting belief. Our personal imposter, that internal voice whispering doubts, operates in much the same way. It tells us we can't pursue that dream career, that we're not creative enough to write that book, or that we're too old to learn something new. These aren't facts. They are interpretations, often distorted and outdated. The crucial step in dismantling these limitations is to unmask them, to bring them into the light of conscious awareness. Ask yourself, is this belief truly mine, or is it something I've absorbed from others? What evidence do I have to support this belief, and what evidence contradicts it? Often, when examined closely, these beliefs crumble under the weight of logical scrutiny. Limiting beliefs, though often hidden, can profoundly impact our lives. By actively questioning their validity, we can begin to dismantle them and unlock our true potential. Identify one belief that you suspect might be holding you back. Write it down, and then list 3 pieces of evidence that contradict it. This simple exercise can be the start of a profound shift. In our perpetually accelerating world, where notifications ping, emails pile up, and the relentless demands of daily life clamor for our attention, the concept of inner silence might seem like a distant, almost mythical ideal. We are encouraged to be always on, always productive, always connected. But this constant forward momentum, this perpetual state of doing, often leaves little room for simply being. This is where the profound simplicity of the pause, the deliberate act of cultivating mindfulness, steps in. It's not about escaping the world, it's about learning to be fully present within it. Imagine a clear mountain lake. When the wind blows and the surface is agitated, you can't see to the bottom. But when the wind stills, when the surface becomes calm, the depths are revealed with startling clarity. Our minds are much the same. In the constant churn of thoughts and external stimuli, our inner landscape remains obscured. Mindfulness is that stillness, that gentle cessation of the mental turbulence, allowing us to see what truly lies beneath. It's not about emptying the mind, but about observing its contents without judgment, about anchoring ourselves in the present moment. Take, for instance, the legendary Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He famously taught about mindful walking, where each step becomes an opportunity to be fully present, to feel the ground beneath your feet, to notice the sensations of your body, to breathe consciously. This isn't some esoteric practice reserved for monks on the mountaintops. It's a practical tool for everyday life. The goal is to bring a quality of aware attention to whatever you are doing, to imbue ordinary moments with extraordinary presence. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, cultivating mindfulness brings us back to ourselves. By consciously pausing and bringing our attention to the present moment, we create space for clarity and peace. Try this. Choose one routine activity today, like eating a meal or drinking water. For the duration of that activity, focus all your attention on the sensations, the taste, the texture, the smell, the sounds. Notice how different the experience becomes when you are truly present. From the moment we can comprehend language, we begin to construct a narrative about ourselves and the world around us. This story, woven from experiences, interpretations, beliefs, and memories, becomes the lens through which we perceive reality. It dictates our reactions, shapes our expectations, and ultimately determines the trajectory of our lives. But here's the crucial point. This narrative isn't static. It's not a stone tablet carved in an unchangeable script. It is, in fact, a living, breathing document, constantly being updated. And critically, it is one that we have the power To reshape, consider the story of J.K. Rowling. Before she became one of the most successful authors in history, she faced numerous rejections for her manuscript, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Her narrative at that point could have easily become one of failure, of not being good enough. Many would have given up, but she persisted, reshaping her narrative from one of struggle to one of perseverance, from rejection to eventual triumph. She didn't let the external rejections define her inner story. Instead, she used them as fuel, as further proof of her unwavering dedication to her craft. Often, our inner story is filled with old wounds, self-criticism, and limiting beliefs that we've carried since childhood. We might tell ourselves, "I'm not good at public speaking," or "I always mess things up," or "I'm not worthy of love." These are not objective truths. They are interpretations that have hardened into convictions. The process of reshaping your narrative begins with identifying these core stories that no longer serve you. Bring them to the light, examine them, and question their validity. Our inner narratives profoundly shape our reality. By consciously identifying and reshaping stories that no longer serve us, we unlock new possibilities and empower ourselves to live more fulfilling lives. Reflect on a persistent negative self-story you tell yourself. How could you reframe that story to be more empowering and growth-oriented? Write down your new preferred narrative. In a world saturated with carefully curated social media feeds and the relentless pursuit of an often unattainable ideal, the pressure to be perfect can feel crushing. We strive for flawlessness in our careers, our relationships, our appearance, and even our internal lives. This pursuit, however, is a futile and exhausting endeavor, for perfection, in its absolute sense, is an illusion. It is a mirage that recedes further with every step we take towards it. The true liberation, the genuine path to inner silence and clarity, lies not in achieving perfection, but in the radical act of embracing imperfection. It's the freedom of letting go of the need to be flawless. Consider the ancient Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with lacquer mixed with gold dust. The philosophy behind kintsugi is that the breakage and repair are part of the object's history, not something to disguise. In fact, the repaired piece is often considered more beautiful and valuable precisely because of its flaws, because of its journey through breakage and restoration. The cracks, highlighted in gold, tell a story of resilience and transformation. This isn't about hiding our cracks. It's about acknowledging them, learning from them, and recognizing that they contribute to our unique beauty and strength. Our own lives are filled with similar cracks, mistakes made, opportunities missed, words regretted, and moments of vulnerability. The pervasive cultural narrative often tells us to hide these imperfections, to present a polished facade to the world. But this hiding, this constant pretense, expends enormous amounts of mental and emotional energy, creating an internal dissonance that can be a significant source of mental noise. When we refuse to accept our human fallibility, we become trapped in a cycle of self-criticism and anxiety, perpetually fearing exposure. The pursuit of perfection is a draining illusion. By embracing our imperfections, we free ourselves from self-criticism and open ourselves to authentic growth and peace. Reflect on a perceived flaw or mistake you've made. Instead of judging it, try to see it through the lens of kintsugi, as a part of your unique story that has contributed to your resilience? How can you approach this flaw with more acceptance and even appreciation? Life, with its unpredictable currents, inevitably presents us with storms. These aren't just minor squalls. They can be hurricanes of loss, tsunamis of uncertainty, or persistent droughts of despair. When these challenges arrive, the natural human response is often to feel overwhelmed, to be swept away by the intensity of emotions, to allow the outer chaos to mirror and amplify inner turmoil. Yet, it is precisely in these tumultuous moments that the true measure of our inner strength is tested, and the ability to find calm amidst the storm becomes not just a coping mechanism, but a profound path to mental growth and resilience. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who lived through significant hardship, including being born into slavery. His teachings, developed centuries ago, remain profoundly relevant today. He famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He understood that while we cannot control external events, we always retain the power to choose our response. This isn't about denying pain or suppressing emotions. It's about acknowledging the reality of the situation, feeling the emotions, but refusing to allow them to dictate our entire being. It's about finding an anchor within, even when the waves crash around us. This inner anchor is often forged through a combination of acceptance, perspective, and intentional action. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means acknowledging what is rather than fighting against an unchangeable reality. Perspective allows us to zoom out, to see the challenge not as the entirety of our existence, but as a chapter in a larger story. During a storm, a seasoned sailor doesn't panic. They focus on what they can control, their actions, their responses, their preparedness, rather than what they cannot. Life's challenges are inevitable, but our response to them determines their impact. By choosing acceptance, maintaining perspective, and taking intentional action, we can find calm even in the midst of chaos. Think of a current challenge you're facing. What is one small intentional action you can take today that is within your control and could help you navigate this challenge with more calm? In the relentless drumbeat of daily life, it's remarkably easy to get caught in a cycle of focusing on what's missing, what's wrong, or what could be better. Our minds, often wired for problem solving and survival, are naturally drawn to potential threats and deficiencies. While this has its evolutionary advantages, it can also create a persistent hum of dissatisfaction, a subtle mental noise that dampens our spirit. The antidote, a powerful and transformative practice, is the deliberate cultivation of gratitude. It's not just a fleeting emotion, it's a profound way of being that can amplify positivity and quiet the mind's tendency toward scarcity. Consider the story of Anne Frank. Trapped in an attic during one of humanity's darkest hours, she found moments of profound gratitude. In her diary, amidst the fear and confinement, she wrote about the beauty of a single chestnut tree, the sound of rain on the roof, the simple comfort of a shared meal. She didn't deny the horrors around her, but she consciously chose to acknowledge and appreciate the flicker of light, the small mercies, the enduring beauty that still existed. Her capacity for gratitude, even in unimaginable circumstances, speaks volumes about its power to illuminate even the darkest corners of existence. Practicing gratitude isn't about ignoring suffering or pretending everything is perfect. It's about shifting your focus intentionally directing your attention towards the abundance that already exists in your life, no matter how small. It's about recognizing the gifts, both grand and subtle, that are often overlooked in the rush of everyday demands. This could be the warmth of a morning coffee, the kindness of a stranger, the steady rhythm of your breath, or the comfort of a roof over your head. Each acknowledgement, each moment of genuine appreciation sends a ripple of positive energy through your being. Cultivating gratitude shifts our focus from scarcity to abundance, amplifying positivity and quietening mental noise. Make it a daily practice to list 3 things you are genuinely grateful for, no matter how small. This simple act can profoundly reframe your perspective and invite more peace into your life. Our lives are often lived in a state of constant external engagement. We are bombarded by information, expectations, and demands from the world outside us. While interaction and connection are vital, if we don't consciously carve out periods of solitude and quiet, our inner landscape can become cluttered, chaotic, and devoid of true peace. Building your sanctuary isn't about escaping the world. It's about creating dedicated space, both physically and mentally, where you can reconnect with your deepest self, recharge your spirit, and cultivate the profound inner silence that allows for clarity to emerge. Consider the wisdom of ancient spiritual traditions, where practices of retreat and contemplation have always been central. Monks in secluded monasteries, hermits in distant caves, even writers seeking a quiet cabin in the woods. They understood the fundamental human need for withdrawal, for a dedicated space where the soul can breathe. This doesn't mean you need to pack your bags and move to a remote mountaintop. Your sanctuary can be a quiet corner in your home, a specific time of day set aside for reflection, or even a mental space you access through meditation. The key is its intentionality and its purpose to foster inner peace. Creating this sanctuary involves both external and internal elements. Externally, it might mean decluttering a physical space, making it visually calming and free from distractions. It could involve designating certain times of the day as quiet hours, where technology is put away and silence is embraced. Internally, it's about cultivating the discipline to step away from the mental noise, to put down the phone, close the laptop, and resist the urge to fill every spare moment with external stimulation. Creating a personal sanctuary, whether physical or mental, is essential for cultivating inner peace and clarity amidst life's demands. Identify one small space or time in your daily routine where you can intentionally create a sanctuary for quiet reflection. It could be 5 minutes in the morning with no distractions, or a specific chair where you only read. Commit to using this space-time consistently. We've explored many paths on this journey, recognizing the mind's chatter, challenging limiting beliefs, cultivating mindfulness, reshaping our narratives, embracing imperfection, navigating challenges, finding gratitude, and building our inner sanctuaries. But here's the truth. The pursuit of inner silence and clarity is not a destination. It is a continuous journey, an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and growing. Just as a gardener doesn't tend their plants once and expect a perpetual harvest, we too must consistently nurture our inner landscape to sustain the peace and clarity we've cultivated. Consider the practice of an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't train intensely for a few months and then expect to maintain peak performance indefinitely. Their training is a daily discipline, a commitment to consistent effort, even on days when motivation wanes. They understand that progress is incremental and setbacks are a part of the process. Similarly, sustaining mental growth and inner peace requires consistent practice and self-awareness. It's about integrating these tools and insights not as temporary fixes, but as fundamental aspects of how you live your life. This means embracing the inevitable ebb and flow of life. There will be days when the mind's noise feels overwhelming again, when old limiting beliefs resurface, or when challenges seem insurmountable. This is not a failure, it is simply part of the human experience. The key is to remember the tools you've gained, to return to the practices that serve you, and to approach these moments with compassion and patience. It's about recognizing when you've strayed from the path and gently guiding yourself back, rather than falling into self-reproach. The path to inner silence and clarity is an ongoing journey of continuous practice and self-awareness. Embrace the ebb and flow, return to your tools, and approach yourself with compassion. Reflect on one practice from these chapters that resonated most deeply with you. How can you commit to integrating this practice more consistently into your daily life to sustain your mental growth and clarity? As our time together draws to a close, remember, the wisdom we've explored is a seed. To truly flourish, it needs your nurturing, your consistent effort, and your commitment to yourself. If these lessons have resonated with you, if they've sparked a flicker of understanding or a deeper sense of peace, then help us spread this wisdom. Like and subscribe so that these paths to inner silence and clarity can reach more people who could truly benefit from these timeless insights. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep finding that quiet strength within